I'm not having kids.
In America, and honestly everywhere, motherhood is treated as a woman's central purpose in life. As if
when I tell people I don't want to have kids or I don't want to be married, and they tell me, oh, no, you're going to change your mind. You're going to meet.
This is one of my favorite questions because I feel like I'm in the minority when it comes to not wanting kids. My husband and I decided quite some time ago that we don't want to be parents or have children ever. After we got...
Amazing viewer, I'm glad to have you. Thank you so much for stopping by. If this is your first time, consider subscribing. And if you're coming back to watch my content, you are the real one. You are the real one. You are the real one. You know, I'm so glad that you're supporting my content. Let's dive into today's video. So it's about child-free women by choice. Some are 20s, in their 20s, some are in their 90s, some are past the age of having kids and they're still standing on this decision they made. So there are different reasons here. Choosing videos was a bit difficult, but I had to look at videos that tackle different age range so that we get to understand the full picture of it, you know, the reason why they don't have to have kids. Some are still recovering from past traumas, some didn't have good families, you know, backgrounds, and they don't want to just get into that, and some just don't have anyone dependent on them. There's a lot we can discover here. I'll let you listen to the rest of the video. Don't hesitate to leave me your thoughts.
You're unapologetic about not wanting kids and think more women should speak up about being childless by choice because there's some sort of shame attached to it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 47 and people are still asking me, are you sure? I'm sure. I'm positive. I've had the opportunity to carry it through with a pregnancy and I've rejected that idea, you know?
Yeah.
That is not on the table for me.
The bottom line is Chelsea Handler doesn't want any kids, and why are you making it your business to ask her about?
And it's
ask her how she is. And ask her how the dogs are.
Yeah.
Don't ask
The
if she
one
wants
she gave
kids. The
back?
answer is no.
I always was someone who knew I didn't want to have kids, but then I turned 30. And after you turn 30, shit gets really real because it does get harder for you to have a baby biologically. And before that, it was always like, oh, hope I'm not pregnant. Like I was actively avoiding babies. But then I was like, oh, my ability to do this thing is like slipping away. Do I actually not want kids? Or was I just not wanting kids at earlier times in my life? Now I'm 35, I still don't have kids. I don't want children. 14-year-old, 15-year-old me knew the truth. But to all my other child-free people, I just want to let you know, it's totally fine if you go through a period of being like, wait, do I really want this? Because kids are the ultimate decision. There's a no return policy on that. But also for some of us, there is a clock. Double checking, doing a check-in with yourself doesn't mean you were lying to yourself earlier. It's always good to double check.
So as some of you might know, I'm child-free by choice. My husband and I made that decision years ago, and honestly, with each passing year, we become more and more secure in our choice. It's a vibe, honestly. But when you're child-free, you have to think really proactively about how you're going to be involved in kids' lives and what role you're going to play, if any. So I do think about that a lot, and I also think about childhood kind of as a concept. And something I feel like doesn't get addressed enough is people who hated childhood not because of anything bad that happened to them, but because they absolutely hated being a child. Like by pretty much every metric, I had a great childhood, I had a great family, really no complaints, but I fucking hated being a kid. Like I have vivid memories of just this constant feeling of frustration that I didn't get to make all my own choices, that I had to listen to adults even though I knew that a lot of the adults around me were stupid as hell. And I just had such a strong feeling of like, I cannot wait to get out of here being in the body of an 8-year-old. So part of the role that I really want to play in the lives of the kids that I have around me is this role of someone who really increases that sense of agency and autonomy and frankly being taken seriously. And in some ways, I think that's honestly the defining characteristic of the prototypical like cool auntie is that she takes you seriously and she allows you to be yourself. And she doesn't talk down to you just because you're a kid. And that's especially resonant for little kids who, like me, absolutely fucking hated being a kid. Be the auntie you wish to see in the world, I say.
Having kids, I just don't understand how you don't want your legacy to be carried on, bro. Like
my legacy is me. My legacy is not my kids. My legacy is me. My legacy is my show. My legacy is Amani. My legacy is not my kids because average people will be like, oh, I want a legacy, but you're average. You live like a peasant. So what is your legacy? Let's say that you are above average. You're a millionaire. You're brilliant. You've made all these contributions to society. Your kid could come out to be a crackhead. Your kids could come out to be a school shooter. And that's the legacy? That's your legacy? I don't think that legacies, people even really know what they mean. Because your legacy starts with you. And if you don't have a legacy in your name, your kids ain't got shit to do with your legacy. People think that a legacy is just having kids. No, your legacy is what you set your kids up for. And a lot of people don't got two fucking pennies to rub together but want to have kids and a legacy. What fucking legacy do you have? A legacy of debt? You are an everyday average citizen, sir.
So you consider,
Act like it.
that's so fucking selfish, bro. So
no,
selfish.
actually, it's selfish to have kids because you think that you're so great that you're going to pass on something great to your kids, to the world. You're not that great.
In America and honestly everywhere, motherhood is treated as a woman's central purpose in life, as if our destiny is to let a tiny stranger rip a hole through our Pikachu from the inside out. And then as soon as we turn 18, we're just supposed to sit back and wait for Nick Cannon to impregnate us. And look, I have infinite respect for moms, but motherhood is hard. It's so hard, it even broke Marie Kondo. Tidying up was her life's work. Then she has kids and was like, F it, living in squalor is fine. So it really shouldn't be surprising that some women aren't signing up. But many people aren't just surprised, they're horrified. Childless women are seen as unfulfilled, unhappy. Even the Pope has slammed us, saying that not having children is selfish. First of all, I am not going to take procreation advice from a guy who's never even penetrated anyone. Well, not that we know of, anyway.
A lot of people say to me, how much time I have kids? Should I have kids? And this is a great question. What I tell people, even though I've had them, love them, and also I'm a person who I never was a baby person. I was no, I'm just busy recovering from the trauma of childhood and trying to be a woman in this insane world. I didn't think about it. And of course I met someone and we dated and we decided to combine our genetics and create, these two little souls. But what Chelsea Handler says is absolutely true. If you enjoy doing what you want, when you want, however you want, having children might not be for you.
When you think you have kids?
I'm not having kids.
What you mean you're not having kids?
I'm not having kids.
That's what you was born there to do.
No, I'm not.
Why would you not want to have kids?
Why would I?
Well, I'm asking you.
Why don't I want to have kids? I don't see any benefit.
For giving somebody life?
You have a kid and your life becomes about the kid. I want my life to be about me.
Oh, you selfish.
That's okay.
So let's actually ask child-free by choice women, do they truly regret their decision?
I'll jump on this bandwagon. I'm 37, not 40, so close enough. The massive responsibility of having a child has weighed on me so much, and I take it so seriously that I understand the number one reason that I have not had children is because I have never been with a man that I felt safe enough to have children with. I grew up in the Bible Belt. I grew up around heavily indoctrinated, patriarchal, misogynistic, Republican-minded people. I'm one of the few people that left my hometown as a child and then have been out here in the world on my own, trying to protect myself from all these predatory men. And none of them have ever humbled themselves and asked me to marry them. But two different men tried to put a baby in me. The first one did and denied it was his. The second one did, and long story short, I found out he was so violent that his own mother looked at me in the face and told me to run for my life. So yes, I was young and naive. I was expecting to be loved by these people and not treated like just a piece of garbage, but lo and behold, this is the patriarchal, misogynistic life that we live in. Do I regret not being tied to these abusive men or letting them have access to abuse my child? Abso-fucking-lutely not. People act like women who are closer to 40 that don't have children don't care. I've been helping raise everybody else's kids. I have been doing children's rights activism work because I realize how little rights that kids actually have and how many children are abused systemically in this country. Did I want my child going into the system? Absolutely not. Could I have raised those children on my own? Absolutely not. So I chose the hardest choices that I've had to make in my entire life. While receiving no support, I became much more isolated of a person because of it. But I respect the shit out of myself for having to make those hard decisions. I suffered, not them. And after 30, when my mind fully developed and I began to realize what I had been through in my 20s with these people, I decided that my freedom and my peace of mind for not having children with men who would abuse me and those kids for the rest of my life, I thank myself every day for remaining child-free by choice. Period.
I really need someone to tell me if having kids is worth it.
I actually went to therapy for this exact question, and I'll tell you what my therapist told me. So she basically says motherhood is a very universal path. So get a kid, raise a kid, right? But the individual journey and experience is so unique to every single mom that you're gonna see moms who are YouTube and Instagram moms and magical pregnancy, magical birth, magical babies, magical partner, just everything is magic. But you're also gonna see moms who are struggling. They're overstimulated, they're tired, their mental health, finances, relationship took a toll. Their kids just need more from them as moms. It's just a lot harder to be a mom. So she tells me, right, if you understand and accept that perspective, there are 3 things that you have to work through when it comes to figuring out this question. Number 1, do you accept terms and conditions? And that means, are you aware that being a mom is probably one of the most unstable, unpredictable, craziest journeys that you could ever do in your life? And it might be hard, it might be easy. It might be hard the whole time, hard some of the time, none of the time. You won't know what's going on until you're actually in the thick of it. And is that something that you're okay with? If it's not, can you get okay with it? Is there any scenario in which you're okay with that insaneness? And if not, then maybe that's your answer. Number 2, what are you going to do if it gets hard? If your finances, your mental health, your body, your relationship, if anything hits a wall or gets hard during this journey, are you going to be able to get through it? Or are you going to be able to find the tools and the support that you need? If you don't have that now, can you get that? Is that something that you're going to be able to find at some point around you to help you get through this journey? 3 was a little more personalized to me, but I'll try to explain it in a way that's general. My therapist said, running sucks and running is really hard, but running a marathon and finishing a marathon will give you a sense of pride and empowerment that nobody can take away from you. Something about training for a marathon, running a marathon with people around you, you guys are all on this hard journey together. There's cheering at the end of it. You get a medal or whatever. You cross the finish line. You just do a really hard thing and you get it done. That will give you a sense of empowerment and accomplishment that is just very indescribable. And that's what she was trying to tell me at the time. All of that was years ago. And I am now 30 with a 2-year-old in the thick of motherhood. And I can definitely say that 1, my heart explodes every single minute of every day that I look at my child. My heart explodes. I'm so in love. And motherhood has definitely been one of the most difficult journeys of my life. All my worst fears surrounding birth and postpartum and things came true. I had to lean really hard on the support, but the empowerment, the discovery, the new person I'm getting to know as a mom is just incredible.
And you're going to meet a guy and you're going to change your mind on those decisions. I always ask them, do you think I'm stupid? And then they'll try to save themselves with some bullshit of, no, it just takes the right one. Da, da, da. But I love to follow up that conversation with, am I stupid? Because you must think I'm stupid to be 28 years old and have been making decisions up until this point in my life that have got me here. But that one really big decision of having a kid or being married, I don't know about that. I don't know myself that much. Or you're telling me that decision is actually not mine, and that even though I've decided and I've told you I'm not going to be doing these 2 things, it's actually going to take another man's opinion and decision on my body whether or not we're going to have kids. Like, you must think I'm weak, I'm stupid. Which one is it? Choose one way to diss me. How are you going to choose all of them? I recommend you use this because although that person will never speak to you again, it does give you that chance to go head to head with someone who has deep-rooted misogyny living in them. And honestly, those people need to be shutted up the most.
I just saw a video of a woman who did not want kids initially. She got married to a man who does want kids, or so he claimed. But when the kid got here, guess what happened? I'm pretty sure you can guess what happened. All of a sudden, he can't handle being a father. He can't handle taking care of a child. How convenient. Some of these men will say they want a child just to say they want a child, just because it sounds good. But they really don't have a clue how hard it is to take care of a child because they think it's going to be your job to do it. If you don't want children and your man wants children, I do not care how compatible you guys are. I don't care how well y'all get along. I don't care how much y'all love each other. It ain't gonna work. You cannot compromise on a child. You cannot compromise on a human being. You are gonna end up resenting that child. And you also gonna end up resenting that man because now you're stuck with both of them for at least 18 years.
So I've seen a lot of videos of people making lists of reasons why they don't want to have kids. And I think all those reasons are valid. Fuck it, don't have them. I'm going to tell you the 2 reasons I do want to have kids. And I never cared about having kids until I was in my late 20s. So there was some sort of like mental biological change up in my noggin. Okay, number 1, I think giving birth is the most metal shit I've ever heard of. Giving birth is right up there with riding a motorcycle naked with no hands. Just, I want to be in there, feet in stirrups, Metallica blasting. I'm just breathing and rocking the fuck out and pushing out a human. Yeah, obviously it could tear me down to my asshole, but that's an experience I just want. I just think of people like jumping out of a plane and you're like, why do you need to do that? It's like, yeah, I don't know. That's reason number 1. I think giving birth is very rock and roll. I think I'll respect myself more after I do that, which I need. Second reason is that a couple years ago I got this dog. Before you say you just like your dog because she loves you unconditionally. No, she doesn't. This is a Shiba Inu. She does not care if I live or die. What happened when I got this dog was that something unlocked in my heart. Maybe it grew 3 sizes that day. See, she wants me to leave. I'm not kidding when I tell you that she's the reason I actually want to have kids because I enjoy loving my dog so much. I enjoy the act of loving her. I enjoy all the sacrifices I make for her. I enjoy taking her to the park. I enjoy watching her experience new things and go out with her little friends, her little pack. I loved teaching her stuff when she was a puppy. And like, obviously having a dog is less insane than having a baby. Still like a thing full of sacrifices. Like my life completely changed when I got her and I can't like, stay out all night or do whatever. And like, I have to think before I make plans. So there's like minor sacrifices made, but I enjoy every single one of them. And I love her so much that I just want to love something else that much too. It's the best feeling in the world. I would love to have more of that feeling with people that can speak. Also, the next generation of kids are going to be fucking dope because like all we talk about is like generational trauma and all that shit that we're sorting out. So I think the next generation is going to be really dope. I want to fucking make some of those. I want to make some of the next generation. I'm going to stir it up, push it out.
Okay, so ironically, I get this conversation a lot. Whenever it comes to the topic of having kids, and I tell the person I'm speaking with that I don't ever want kids, they're absolutely caught aghast. They're just like, what? Sayang naman yung lahi mo. Ano ko aso? And a lot of people are just like, oh, wait till you have them. Dude, that's the point. I don't want them. I even talked to my little siblings about it when they were babies. And I was like, I don't want any kids. I'm okay with like having you guys to kind of help raise and everything. And then my brother was like, why do you hate your children? How can I hate my children that I've never had? And just to be clear, I don't hate kids, but there are some people who don't want kids because they hate kids. I will literally be every single child's ninang. Like all of my my barkada really wants a lot of kids. So I will be the ninang of most of your kids. But besides the point, I'm okay with kids. But I don't want to have them. And when people demand an answer as to why, honestly, I don't have to give you an explanation. But I want to share with you guys why I personally do not want kids. I came from a broken family. My parents separated when I was only 4. And as early as then, I already knew how babies came to be. They come out of the coochie. And at that age, I didn't even know there were holes down there. So immediately I was like, how else is the baby gonna come out? So there's that. I don't want that physical pain of birth giving. And as I grew up, I realized how difficult it actually is to give birth for most cases and how high the hospital bill can actually get. I also learned how much stress the female body goes through. You go through fluctuating hormones. You start to wonder. You get anxious most of the time. Some people get extremely depressed. Some people get acid reflux. My second major reason is because me as a person, I know that I want to focus on what I can do because I know myself best and I want to achieve a lot of things throughout my lifetime. So I know I won't be able to do most of these things when I have a kid because then I will be focusing on the life of that kid. And it wouldn't be fair naman to focus on my life while I have a child because I've been through that. I have been in the place of that child. And my final reason is that when I have a partner, I want to spend my life with the partner. Most of the time, when you have a kid with your partner, it becomes also about the kid. And I know, of course, there are people out there who absolutely love their families. They're in a loving family, a loving home. They're able to balance it all out. But for me, I want to spend my entire lifetime with my partner. I want to experience new things every single day, every single week, every single year without a kid. I just want to be with my partner. So naturally, if my partner wants kids, I'm sorry, that's a non-negotiable for me.
Watch this video and then I'll be back.
By 2030, 45% of working women ages 25 to 45 will be non-married, no kids, single.
So what's wrong with that?
So you might say, well, what's wrong with that? If you think that you're going to genuinely be fulfilled in life because you made money, best of luck to you.
Okay, so he had one perspective. I'm going to give you another. And this one's coming from an actual woman who was single and child-free and fulfilled. When I was a little child in the 70s, my grandmother and her two sisters, all very well-educated women, especially for that time period, looked at me and said, never depend on a man. And I was like, I'm 5. But what they were trying to instill in me was that my independence was important. They knew that a good education, especially at that time, led to financial freedom. And when you have financial freedom, you make better decisions for your life. I was married for 22 years. We never shared a bank account and we never had joint credit cards. When I got my amicable divorce, my lawyer said it was one of the easiest that he had ever done. And I wasn't planning on getting divorced, but having financial independence definitely made it easier. And it helped me with the decision that it was time to leave. I never felt trapped. I knew that I had my own money, and I knew that I had 4 college degrees. Whoever comes into my life at this point is here because I want them here, not because I need them here. I have a fantastic and supportive boyfriend, and he's in my life because I want him in my life. He doesn't pay any of my bills. We don't live together, and I have no intentions of getting married. I have a fantastic and supportive family. I have a huge group of female friends. I have a job that I love. I have hobbies I adore. I feel valued, connected, and fulfilled. I don't have a husband, and I don't have children. If you want a husband and you want children, great, please do it. That will be fulfilling for you. I just don't want you to listen to some guy with a podcast saying that you will be a miserable old crone if you don't do these things. Only you know what's right for you, and that's what you have to follow. There are some of us here in our 50s and older who led the way for this, and we're telling you, it's a damn good life. This is a picture I have of my grandmother and her 2 sisters when I was 17.
I'm so curious to hear from you guys. As a mother of 2, let me just add my own point here. Yeah, being a mother of 2 and also having gone through postpartum depression 2 times after having my 2 boys, I can tell you that motherhood is not a walk in the park. Being a mother is not something that you can quit from. You know, there's a lot. If you have so many questions about being a mother and what to expect, and maybe fears of how to, of getting into that, you get the support you need. I can still say that motherhood, having kids, is the most beautiful things that can ever happen to a woman on this planet. That, but in my opinion, you know, because yes, it's hard, but then when you look at those babies, you feel like, oh my gosh. You feel like you feel that amazement that people get to feel when they see their children. I don't know what's the joy that your mother, you exist because somebody had to sacrifice of their desires, of their comfort to give you life, you know, to give birth to you. So why can't you do that to somebody else and continue on, and give the support you need, you know? Yeah, anyway, I don't know what else I can say here, but get the support you need. There's a lot that happen after childbirth. There's also those hormonal imbalance for some, those who go through postpartum depression like I did. And yeah, there's a lot that happens, but it's always important that you look for support. And also, if you see that you're in a relationship, you want to get that child, and people are denying you, they're denying the pregnancy, get other help. You know, a guy can refuse the pregnancy, but you find another way you can just take that innocent child. I will still be against whatever you guys say the best decision and you've aborted. That's not a good thing, you know. That's killing innocent blood. How can you advocate for something, for someone, and for kids, and you've already taken a life of, you know? I don't know how I can say this. I'm not judging anybody here, but we're just educating ourselves through what we're seeing around us. So I'm so curious to hear from you. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, turn on the bell so that you get notified whenever we have a new video. Stay tuned. I appreciate your time. Goodbye for now.